what have you done for me lately? It's Coons, what have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, the only thing we owe them.
Good evening, welcome. Let's talk to it tonight. Special edition, TetherGeddon, take your ass home, with myself and none other than Dr. Short. Dr. Short, what's going on?
Yes, all around the world, to all those from shithole countries that know that they don't belong here. And if you can't be down with FBAs, take your legal asses home. Okay. If you can't be down for FBA, take your legal asses home. I'm okay. I'm standing in the need of prayer through intercession for my godmother, who gave me a bigger scare than the Iran war. And that is just that she's in Howard Hospital waiting for surgery. And I'm just telling you, uh, you want a scary movie? Go to a Black run hospital. If you think God will never leave you, think twice. Go to Howard University Hospital emergency room. God just might not be anywhere near another second cross for your ass. If you're in the DC area, I want to believe in Black people, or at least half the time. But the side of me that would put on a blonde wig would say, if you have to go to another hospital, please do that. It could be great. We could be great as a people. I don't know that we want to be. But damn, my friend's mama died up at Howard Hospital and shit. Motherfuckers are lacking gloves and everything. That's like a pimp that doesn't have condoms for his holes. The people were nice, but it was weird. I was in there and it was sort of like, I don't know. Remember Fisher Price, the toy company, where they would have the toy kitchens and shit? Their hospital room compared to the other places, like running out of soap and shit. I think they had water, right? Damn. So my godmother's up at Howard Hospital. And it's like, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord. Standing in the need of prayer. My godmother's a good person, but damn. I used to work over in Howard, and those niggas, they got sued like Mr. Berger did on on Perry Mason. I'm not trying to be funny. You wake up and keep setting off the metal detector and shit because they have scissors or forceps or sponge inside your ass. Because people were rushing. Let me tell you, there's teaching hospitals and they're preaching hospitals. A teaching hospital, people learn how to heal you. A preaching hospital, these people teach your ass a lesson to stop going up over there. I am not trying to tell anybody not to get medical care, but I would tell anybody, my grandmother, my great grandmother, was born 1911, but died 2004 or 5. I think it's 4 or 5. I don't care. It's one of those years. Yeah. When my grandmother had a heart attack Christmas Day and people trying to figure out where to take her. And when we said Howard Hospital, she had another heart attack in front of us. We had to go to Georgetown. My grandmother's ready to die before she went to Howard Hospital. And we all have a hospital where you get fucked up when you're a black person. In every city, they got one. Or if they don't have one, the next city has a place where you will be fucked up. So pray for my godmother. She's a good person. We hang out. You know, she lost her only son. I lost my only mom. So we just went ahead, created a new family. I'm like, damn, I just lost my mother. Shit, I gotta deal with this again. And at Howard fucking hospital. Damn. And it's too cold with all this damn rain. We go over there and just see some sorry people like mess over. So I'm gonna have to go over and check on her. And you know, man, that just pushed Epstein and the war off the damn headlines. Cause yeah, I lied not on May 28th last year, watch my play aunt die. And
Mm.
damn, at Howard Hospital with my friends at Howard Hospital said, damn, we should just go and unplug the shit. And by the way, I was there when they unplugged her. She was gone within hours. And I don't know how they did that, man. Her feet were blacker than Wesley Snipes, hands blacker than Wesley Snipes. I mean, she was colder than a damn fucking what are those things? Push up ice cream. Remember those things that come by the people selling drugs and good ice cream too? You wonder how they could sell that shit for a quarter. That's because they're selling drugs on the other side of the ice cream thing. You know what I'm talking about. All of you that have lived in the hood knew the people selling drugs too. You know the adults weren't that excited about no fucking ice cream. They ran after the damn ice cream truck like it was pussy on fire. Come on. Talk to me. Remember the adults? You saw the adults more excited about the ice cream truck than the kids? Hmm. That was the best hustle. To sell drugs during the summertime under the cover of ice cream, that was safer than having your own corner. Come on, man. You laughing. You better tell the truth, Dome. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But I will say this. They passed the savings on for the drugs to us for our ice cream for us kids. You wonder why your parents are fucked up and why you feel so good. Well, now you know. And
Hmm.
then when crack came along, I mean, people shit, they blow up your ice cream truck. The ice cream truck stopped coming after crack hit, if y'all notice. Didn't you notice the ice cream truck stopped after crack?
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay.
that one that sold you called talking about the push up. That was the push up ice cream. They called
Yeah,
it the
I
push
like to push up, man. Man, in fact, they like push ups so much. There's another way for saying getting yourself some. Okay, well, we're sorry for all of you generations Z, Y, Z, and whatever the hell else you are. We're just talking, and you know, another day, another war. Oh God! And I do have to do another public service announcement. This is to all the black men out there. Black men, we're we're really fucking up in all kinds of ways. The Epstein revelations should let us know that our kids that are disappearing, it's not a happy story and shit, right? Nobody's going to show up on Star Search or American Idol or get a Rhodes Scholarship. These motherfuckers getting raped, beaten, killed, and eaten. And we're going to have to protect our communities. Everybody else does. I want to say, as
up.
a black dude that can't dribble a basketball, uh, only went to one martial arts class. Can't hold on to football. The shit was slide out of my hands. My hands are sweaty. Uh, I mean, I even find golf annoying. There's nothing sports or athletic that I was really good at, but I've stood up for things. I've seen so many black men, bodies perfectly toned, And it seems like the only thing that they really do anything with, if they've got body where they got so many beer cans and shit, they look like Milwaukee, they're more likely to bitch or whore themselves out to white men or at some gay establishment than use all that brawn and energy and physicality for the damn protection and security of our people. What the fuck is with that, black men? Why are you so strong? Why are you in the gym? Why can you bench press, do all this stuff, all of this physical shit you can do? And not an iota of that energy is for the security of your community or your children. It has to be some one-on-one shit. It could never be a collective thing that we're going to make certain that a neighborhood is safe. You know, a black kid wandered into a police station and got the shit beat out of him because he was lost. And the mama and them are facing the cops. Where are the black men? All you big dick, fat mouth talking, puffed up, shallow motherfuckers, the kind that make me cut my own sorry ass hair instead of being in a barbershop, listening to y'all blather about bullshit when the whole fucking world is closing in. What the fuck are you guys about? I mean, like I said, I can't play basketball. All the kind of shit people brag off, get props off of. I'll give it to you. It's not me. But all of y'all that talk, yeah, we bad. We don't take no shit from no fucking body. We should have done. Well, shut down human trafficking. Shut down these illegals. Shut down these people that got your mama and your godmother and your sisters and your cousins selling pussy for cornmeal and for $10 gallon milk. Landlords that have rats bigger than fucking beavers and shit. And folks are paying a premium for it. I just wonder, it's just all the years, the bullies at school, the this, the we bad, where does all this black male strength actually have something? Where are our fucking in-house tangibles while we demand reparations from these racist devils? You know, we will put a black man or woman through more shit to join one of these sodomite, paganistic, Luciferian, Divine Nine organizations will abuse, throw hot, scalding fried chicken on people trying to be friends to you, than what we'll do when the illegals and other people come and push us out of our neighborhoods. Black folks have been burnt out of neighborhoods in Chicago and in Miami and in California. When does black manhood, all this, I'm a bad mother, he was bad, that nigga, when does that do something other than just be a bunch of fucking empty boasting and talk? Black men. Same way I'm going to say it, Fruit of Islam did more than scare the shit out of anybody that fought Malcolm X or beat up people over small shit or beat up people in Philly or other places. But when our neighborhoods are overrun in every imaginable way, show me a health battle, a battle around prostate cancer, breast cancer, anything. Just find something that you can fucking fight for other than your dick, your pride. And a lot of y'all beat the shit out of women and kids. I'm saying kids with cracked skulls, every imaginable. People just killing. But you'll never see a racist cop or predators in our neighborhood get bleeding out on the pavement, get the shit kicked out of them. I just want to start off with that. We can get to the topic. It just always fascinated me, black men and black women. I'm going to say this. I'm fascinated at the silence of all of you for all the missing children and women, the silence of all the black women being killed, butchered, chopped up like fucking Mary Steaks 20-piece chicken box. Black women killed by white men, set on fire by white men. Nobody's saying a damn thing. Power comes with genuine unity. Power comes with honesty about where the hell you are. Power doesn't take everybody in the hood or wherever you are, or you've been dispersed, but power takes a couple of people to say, um, if we don't pull our shit together, we will be pulled completely apart and decimated apart. Um, we have to do something differently. So we just had Black History Month, and now we're at war, and there are Black folk fighting. In fact, fighting for that racist ass white dude with Tourette's that opened his fucking mouth over in England, and they're Negroes who don't care about the mental health crisis, the diabetes crisis, the cardiovascular crisis, the food deficit. There's not one damn thing that's going on with Black folks that you get any struggle, fight, resist, nothing. In fact,
Nothing.
y'all make the NAACP seem like they're the fucking Black Panthers. Not one thing do we struggle or fight against except you can get two people to fight and folk. In fact, a white cop beating a Black person to death, and we all want to get a video of it. Oh yeah, he beat whooping their ass. Can you imagine if those of us today were living during the lynching, they'd be trying to get video as they hung the people or burnt them alive.
I'm
And
pulling
I'm
their
a,
phone out,
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
go
yeah.
viral.
Now they'd be zooming, man. Now, this is my school. Man, this is my footage, man. I'm gonna get a strike if you show this thing. It better not be for the uplift and education of our people, man. This better be for, tell 'em, no, we're gonna have a ladies only orgy, and you get to watch my footage, but I need you to like and share this first. You know, we got to take a good look. I'm gonna just say it. Unlike the Iranians, and they're the Iranian, you could call basically white people, but you know what? They believe in something. The illegals believe in something, even if they believe in the American dream, which is a total lie. And half of us swolled up because the shit's a lie, but we won't make a Black American dream either. You know, you got to believe in something. Something should matter. And if
Yeah.
you are mad, being high all the time isn't going to help anything to change.
The only thing that
What can,
matters is the NAACP Jigaboo Awards.
well,
That's what
that is kind,
matters.
no, that is kind of true. Actually, that's where a disproportionate amount of their money is spent. It's not on lawyers or anything, but you know what? At least they have something that halfway looks legit once a year. I can think of churches and individuals that don't do anything in a year that looks good, or that, I mean, at least they hand out an award. And if they really want to get popular with the base, perverted, degenerate part of our population, have the whole of the year, stud of the year, or we can give that to these Nigerian people that come over here, all the celebrities. I mean, they're nastier than we are, And but then again, maybe they're our roots to the poison tree we've become. Psych. Psych. Let me just say that. Before we go in and we talk about tethers, our biggest problem is us towards us. And reparations begins with what we do for one another. I was talking to this doctor who's up in New York, who used to be a Pan-Africanist. He woke up, said he quit, and that's a good thing. But I told him I'm not against this concept of Black cooperation that's called Pan-Africanism. I'm against it not being practiced. I'm not against Christianity. I'm against niggas calling themselves one and refusing to live by any of the teachings in the book. I got a tongue ring on and AIDS Lives Matter button on, and just every imaginable thing that's contrary to the Bible and demands status. How are we different from the white people we complain so much about? But this Potemkin democracy that we have, this we see their bullshit and hypocrisy, but seeing theirs won't do anything about ours. Smelling somebody else's armpits won't wash yours, and it won't wipe your ass. And it won't pull off the dried semen off of your nutsack. Only you can do that. And for you ladies, it won't clean under your hood. If you're afraid to touch it, get a fucking water pick. In fact, that's a hell of a way. I mean, you may even like this shit spray down there. Right? I mean, and don't come. Yes, if you can suck a dick, you can use a water pick to clean your pussy. Okay, don't act like that's abstraction. All right. And so before we go in and talk about other people, because I'm going to talk about their illegal asses like I can, I need to say to you that the only reason that they're doing this is because of how we are with one another. And back to what I was saying to the dude about Pan Africanism, I said, you and I engaged in Pan Africanism right now because we perceive we have any kind of African linkage. We're talking to each other. You reaching out to me, I reach back to you. I'm willing to try to do something for you. You're willing to compensate me. I says, I am a Stalinist reciprocal Pan-Africanist. Stalinist in the sense that Joseph Dugashvili, a.k.a. Joseph Stalin, man of steel, was against pan-communism of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, where they were going to try to free the whole fucking world before they secured the status of communism in Russia. He watched the shit fail. People don't realize the early communist shit in Russia almost failed because a whole world invaded their ass. Like maybe 15, no, about 20 different nations invaded Russia when it went commie. How are we going to get all the other nations invading us to accept communism when we haven't secured ourselves as communists and these people trying to take communism down? And he came up with the concept of socialism or communism in one country. We need Pan-Africanism amongst us. Stop killing each other. Stop hating each other. Stop betraying each other. Stop making each other effeminate. Black men stop raping each other in prisons, schools, churches. Black women stop molesting and raping and abusing male and female children. Stop selling dope to one another. Stop spending our money with people who hate us to spite it. Stop getting a divorce because you know the courts are rigged against the black man. Stop letting your kids get taken and put in child and family services where they're pimped and tricked and screwed out. Stop being silent if you're a cop or a nurse or whatever and you got racist white coworkers that do stuff systemically because you got a job. Right? Let us make one another here in the United States great and the whole world, and not just Africans or Caribbeans, a whole bunch of them would be willing to deal with us because they see what we've achieved and secured where we are. The Tethers have come here because they're fucked up where they come from, and they come to America. And some things, by the way, white America works for a certain class of white people. And that's what they come here for, that dream. They don't come here to see us. And I'd say half of black people in this country are semi-fucked or fucked. The other half are okay, but it's a tale of two cities. And they're in competition with the functional black people. The black folks who aren't drugged out, based out, that's who they're fighting with to replace us because they can come in on our background, on our struggle, on everything that they got is from us. And who they're afraid of is black folks who can be nurses and doctors If I've got a fake nursing certificate, who would I fear as a Nigerian female nurse who doesn't have a real? I would be afraid of a real black professional nurse, not a black person that didn't finish school. I would hate the black person that's most accomplished, that is most intelligent because they can catch me. So the target of the tethers are black folks who are smart, black folks that went to school, the black folks that had some education. We're the ones to take out. We're the ones that may get the little bit of affirmative action, whatever was accrued over the years through the struggle. That's who they want to take out. They highlight the black folks that are struggling, or black folks that have lost their way, black folks who've been broken by our internal civil war, our hatred, and despicable treatment of one another. I'm talking about child abuse. I'm talking about sexual abuse. I'm talking about molestation. I'm talking about drugs, psychological shit, religious ripoff, all the stuff that we do to tear up each other as we hone in on the white cop or Hispanic cop or whoever who killed us, sold us overpriced shit, gave us bad service, fucked us up in the hospital like this little grimy ass Indian who sterilized 600 black women in Virginia and not a fucking black bitch celebrity with all this fucking black bitch, black girl magic. I've never seen that shit implemented, ladies, to protect black men. If black men ain't worth a goddamn shit, why aren't you doing something? You got the education and you have the caloric intake. If you march more, if you went a little
They're in
further to the
Dubai.
next door, I mean,
They're in
hell,
Dubai.
well,
The black women in
slinging pussy.
Dubai.
Well, the Iranians gonna blow that shit up. How you gonna sell pussy in the fucking crater hole? But then again, y'all find a way. Yeah, damn, that blew my fucking weave off. Shit, I gotta sell some pussy out here. That hotel was high as shit. Damn, I thought it was gonna be like $20. It's not $20 in America, bitch.
They're in Dubai
Look,
letting the Arabs shit on them.
yeah, yeah. Well, and yeah, you know what? This hood I got in my head, this thing is annoying. I mean, people can't see my look. We got we have to understand that everything. We're our own worst tethers.
All worst tethers.
We are our own worst tethers. So we have a tether, a class of tethered black folk that don't want to fucking be or do nothing for one another, about one another, and want everything. It's sort of like niggas calling me, asking me for my mother's shit, right? I just had an Indian motherfucker try to scam me around putting solar panels on my house and shit. Okay, I mean, these folks, I mean, yeah, they're out here, but we have blacks in the city council that don't protect consumers. How they get my fucking number and address and shit? Why aren't you protecting my? I mean, they're there. You got a staff, right? We facilitate our own extermination. The assassination of all these Iranians you see in the news is done by Iranian traitors taking peanuts from Jews and Americans and killing their own fighters, their own heroes, their own legacy for practically nothing. The highs and lows of the people have a lot to do with how they feel about themselves as individuals and as a collective. If black is ugly, dirty, vile, not worth saving, and that's why how I'd say about half of us feel. Then the other half that's proud, no matter what, slavery, nothing makes them hold their head down. We can't pull those motherfuckers out of the gutter that they're in. In fact, we need to pray an alligator getting that bitch, eat those motherfuckers up. Um, you know, I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna get into the others. I remember, and I couldn't find the book, but a lot of folks don't know this. Not too long ago, Black communities, that they talk about how wonderful they were and they were cohesive. That's because Black men and women would kill and exercise their own judgment with trash members of our own community. Couldn't rely on the white man's law or anything. Maya Angelou got raped. Maya Angelou's uncles and all found the man that raped her and they killed him. A dog walking Black man in Cleveland, Ohio, was in a park, saw a suitcase, was curious dogs barking, and inside were the heads of two Black girls who had been beheaded. My God. My God. And these stories happen more and more. Whether Tether did it, but right there in Cuyahoga County, there are hundreds and hundreds of missing Black children all over the state of Ohio and all across the nation. Missing Black children, missing Black women. I'm saying a story about a Black man who uh, killed his woman over a thing, and someone found a little bit of blood, and they were in a closet somewhere, and folks in freezers and so forth. These aren't stories that stay with us. Although we'll still talk about Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice and other people, and all those atrocities are terrible. But if Black lives really mattered, it would matter if the murderer if they were from another goddamn galaxy. If you kill one of us, your ass has to be held accountable. In the case of people in my family, if, you couldn't talk to my mother's sisters or my mom without my grandfather and his gun looking at your ass. And out of 5 daughters, with the exception of a sexual assault, everybody got married to the first man they were with. Black people respect force and terror. And I'm going to say that there's a type of lawless Black man. The only thing he's going to understand is a butt cracking open his skull. There's a certain sort of Black woman who will understand getting the shit kicked out of her. We need to stop romanticizing who we are. I'm thinking about Nipsey Hussle and them have a little hamburger place opened up in his honor, and certain people down there getting shot. We can't even have get-togethers without someone who's lawless pulling out a gun. In Africa, for all of you fucking Pan-Africanist liars out there, in Africa, if I yell thief in a crowd, people will look for the thief. They may even beat that person to death before the police get them. I'm just trying to tell you how Africans deal with this shit. They're so sick of it, which means that there's a lot of crime in Africa. And a lot of times people just deal with your ass collectively. Stomp your ass out right there. Beat your ass. But there's no prison in Africa. Maybe because they kill a lot of the people before they get to prison. Little lying Pan-Africanists, motherfuckers run around with calorie cells and shit. Tell the truth. Or the jails in Africa, where the jails built by Europeans that are holding 10 times the capacity of what they were constructed for. If there were no jails in Africa, why there's so many African rapists, criminals, and kidnappers and shit in America right now, and they're from Africa, and they learn how to do that shit there. They didn't have a white person say, before you come to America, I'm going to teach you how to be a Black thug. No, you were fucking Black tropical thug before you got here. Now, I just had to get that off my chest. We can have everything that we want to do, but it will take collective work, economics, culture, and of course, enforcement. If I were to have a store, I'd have like a machine gun in the wall and think, yeah, I'm gonna fucking mow you and your family down over that bag of smart food. Just establish a principle. Don't steal up in this motherfucker. It's mine. You want something you can ask for, maybe you can sweep the front. Maybe you can get the crusties off your coochie. Maybe I'll give you a bag. I mean, I'll write it off that you know it got busted when it's there, but don't try to come and take it. We are more like white folk than we are like what we used to be. Disintegration has
Hmm.
really fucked us up, and they've seen it, and they engineered it, and that's why all the newscasters are people of color from other places that fucking hate us and slide them in. Got them running for office. You got that beluga whale looking nigga, the governor of Maryland, who's a Jamaican. You had that bitch that looked like a crackhead James Brown, who ran for governor of Virginia. And thank God that whole lost. You lost, you crusty, evil bitch. I met you. I made a whole bunch of jokes about ugly people the first time I saw you, and you had to stand there and listen to it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, bitch, in the Monaco Hotel in DC, and I would do it again. And it was a joy to see your ass just walk off because you couldn't handle it. Before that bitch got elected, before she said get over slavery. Are you hearing me, brother Quentin?
Yeah.
And damn, I'm telling you, she had a complexion like sandpaper. Man, or Brillo pants, you could probably get the copper shining on the bottom of your mama's pots.
You
Woo!
ain't black if you don't vote for me.
Well, you ain't black if you. This bitch had on Mardi Gras beads. She thought that shit was costume jewelry. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. I think she may have had on green stockings. I mean, it wasn't even St. Patrick's Day. Shit, bitch. What happened to just regular, like, tan or brown? I mean, what's a good color for stockings? I've never worn that shit. Well, Tyler Perry could tell us. Now, now that it's 11:10 and TetherGeddon. Let me just say it started in October, people. TetherGeddon is my word. TetherGeddon is also used by people who trade in Bitcoin and derivatives. And that's where if you link a coin or something to a certain currency, whatever, you can have a situation where you lose all your money because of how you stake or vetted the value of your coin or whatever, and that means you lose it. And we're using Tether in the name of Saint Tariq Nasheed, peace be upon him. Tether's his word for people who want the equity benefits and all of the accolades that are belonging to Black Americans. Or as she says, foundational Black Americans. And there are other names. Mine was descendants of forcibly trafficked Africans and Aboriginals in North America. And yes, I said that Aboriginal or whatever. That's another way of saying Black Indian, of which I'm proudly one. And this shit isn't new. I didn't need Dane Calloway. My grandfather was an Indian. He told me he was an Indian. He told me his mother was an Indian and her mother was an Indian. And my mother's mother was an Indian. My grandmother told me about her. And there was one named Sonia. And Sonia was born like in the 1820s. And there was another Indian whose name was Judah. And she's born about 1817. Uh, and so if I look around, there are a whole lot of fucking Indians. Very few Africans that I can find. I'm going to start working harder to find the Africans in the family. I know they're there. My great 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 grandmother named Bathsheba Drake from down in North Carolina, born 1775 to an African man and an Indian woman. But understand the Indian culture, you're whatever your mama is. Meaning, even when I find a fucking African, the woman is an Indian would still makes you a damn Indian. I'm not denying Africa. I like the Nile Valley civilizations. I like the Niger Valley civilizations. I like the Congo River Valley civilizations. I, I, I like the Benue civilizations. I like the Niger River civilizations. I like the Senegalese River civilization. I like all the shits. I'm just saying, but what about the Potomac or Potomac for you Negroes here? What about the Susquehannock? What about them? What about my folks that are Powhatan and Pamunkey and Piscataqua and Delaware and Blackfeet. Okay. And I'm not mad. And Nodaway. I'm, I'm, I'm not throwing Africa away. I'm just saying that's like saying the only family I'm going to count is on my father's grandmother's side. When you say, oh, just Africa, well, I'm not saying no to anybody. And I count the white motherfuckers too. It's another way to get reparations. And when we get this shit together, because I definitely come from royalty, damn, on all fucking sides. One of them damn castles, man, we can have some fun there, Brother Dome. We can live like white kings. One of them shits belongs to me. I find out what I got a grandfather that's king of Tyrone and fucking Ireland telling Queen Elizabeth to suck his dick. I'm not lying. This is real shit. I'm not lying. I went back. Damn. Game of Thrones, Margaret Beaufort. If my genealogical research is correct, it's my 16th great grandmother. If my genealogy is correct, King James is like my uncle, 9 generations removed. Mary, Queen of Scots' aunt, 10 generations removed. Right? King Henry VIII, my uncle, 10 generations removed. Queen Elizabeth I, my aunt, 9 generations removed. I claim all that shit. And it's really cool when I want to make a racist lose their mind to explain to them that they were my slaves historically, not too long ago. Your ass had to pick my fucking potatoes and oats if we want to play games, right? And who's what. And you're still a fucking slave. Y'all spoiled the game with this color, but that shit's ending in our lifetime. Knock on woods, this Iran shit is resetting the game. White folk, you fucked the game up. And all the black MAGA coons can't save it. I don't care how much cooning they do. Part of making the tethers respect us is claiming what is yours. Those tethers come over here waving flags and shit because they haven't accomplished anything here.
Black Americans ain't got no culture. What are you talking about?
Well, we do have a culture. One of the first people head of the House of Burgesses is one of my ancestors. Okay, I mean, what do you mean? You talk about fucking America. I, I've got an ancestor that was George Washington's assistant, his racist pedophile ass. The way it looks from a research from certain people, Thomas Jefferson's a cousin. Oh my God, Abraham Lincoln's mother's a cousin. I mean, shit, there's nothing you talk about of fucking America that isn't mine. Thing is, like my father won a court case and the city owes my father millions. And I got to collect that shit. But there was a court decision, but it's never been paid. Like Dr. King said, the check given with insufficient funding or insufficient funds, we're owed a debt. And that debt, take it. And when you're in court, you want evidence to win a case, you'll take everything. Among the more compelling things is for us to be of this complex heritage that the land is ours because we're Indians. Labor was stolen from Africans and the mixed children of Africans and others. And damn, some of us are the children of the fucking Epstein billionaire class. They're sitting on money right now and we're their damn cousins. So they fucking owe us now. Africans wouldn't deny it. Africans like the dude fucking that bitch up in Norway. She's probably tired of being cold. That black dick just made her ass just put her crown down and keep walking. It'll be black snake moan for real with some foo-foo on it. Well, foo-foo came out of the black snake. Africans run after the white kings and queens. Remember when Queen Elizabeth II died? And African motherfuckers were bowing and shit when Prince Charles went there and they were crying and stuff. Like Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson died in like an automobile accident together. They run after whatever's powerful and significant, even if it enslaved them, hated them, didn't accord them anything. We have black folks who will reject their own lineage over racism and other stuff instead of saying, hey, look, and I'm speaking to Napoleon Bonaparte, the great Napoleon who conquered significant parts of Europe and everything else. And his ass was short and he was strange and he couldn't even hold on to the high yellow pussy that he was getting from Josephine. That's his problem, not ours. He has descendants in DC. Do you know that those folks won't even look into that? Their last name is Bonaparte and they're not interested. I don't want to know. I think that's crazy. I mean, not so much that I want him, but damn, if the Emperor of France was my great great grandfather, I'd be in France now getting all kinds of free shit. And they would give it to you if you had the bloodline. They can't see past, well, somebody owns somebody. Who said they were a slave? This dude couldn't have owned slaves. Um, Napoleon III couldn't have owned slaves in Washington, D.C. when he was busting nuts here. Slavery had been outlawed. But they don't think. And that's what the Tether's see in us. When they say we don't have a culture, I'm not saying they're right, but do we have a proper sense of history of ourselves? No. Do we make our culture serve us? No. We hand it out like condoms at a Greek letter orgy party. We should cling to our stuff. We need some secrets. Uh, Everything that we have can't be like a fans only page. Certain things shouldn't be shared. We shouldn't let people in. There shouldn't even be a discussion of an essence fest. And many people bitching us with black vendors. So the niggas that make money off the broke niggas that go because there's nothing else to do, they're crying out that they're not getting paid to help fuck over black people culturally. And then dumb fuck black people, they just want to drink and party as they're being priced out of the Ninth Ward. We don't need a fucking essence fest. They need a crude capital formation effort to hold on to the little bit of shit they have before New Orleans becomes Saigon City 2, where the Vietnamese and the other people run their black asses out of there. It's up to us. So TetherGeddon was my word to describe the ultimate uh, emergence of white buyer's remorse. That white society would get tired of all these people being here because I've watched for 40 years for white people to bite their tongue at illegals of all colors, driving drunk, killing people, kidnapping people, stealing, and so forth, because their attitude is, well, they'll eventually adopt to American life and they'll be used to replace Black Americans. So we don't want to arrest them. We want to advance them. We want to give them every opportunity to fit in so we can finally be rid of the original inhabitants of America, the, the Blacks. And for all the Pan-Africanists, fuck you, you fuck niggas that think that the Sioux and the and these Lakota and all these other people, folks at Standing Rock and shit, and you ain't stood on nothing in the fucking hood, but you want to run out and because you watch cowboy movies growing up, thinking that they're the only fucking Indians. Shit, my folks didn't do that. They had small towns and cities. These people didn't chase buffalo. These people were master fishers. Your seafood you get from the Chesapeake, do you think the white people learned or knew about how to get the fish and shit? No, they were taught by people who knew about it. They were already fucking here.
God.
You know, they brought these people in, and now these kids, these people, these tethers are molesting folks. They're engaging in all kinds of fraud. They're abusing people in assisted living, stealing shit, lying, filling up stuff, and they begin and they're so unfoundational Black Americans. They will go and steal in a white neighborhood. A lot of us growing up, no, don't take your ass across town and say you better rob someone where you live. You know, if you can't fuck up the ones that you don't love, fuck up the ones you're with. If if you can, fuck up
You
the
would think
ones
they
you
would follow. You would think they would follow our lead and know how to move,
no,
but they're too
no,
busy
no,
being tethered.
no, they shouldn't follow our lead. They're different people. The same way that if you put in fact, let me tell you something. Black folk treat ethnicity like they're getting a municipal job, right? And if you smoke weed all the time, you can borrow someone else's piss and take it in. Remember people swapping piss and shit? You could
Hmm.
sell your piss and shit. People making good money selling pee. I mean, that was a black man's lemonade stand, selling piss to your friends. I mean, niggas fucking hate you. Hey, church boy, I fucking hate you. I hate Jesus. I do what the fuck I want. And then later, man, I need a job. Hey, church boy. Hey, you Jesus freak nigga. I know you don't smoke. You don't do nothing. You don't even get pussy half the time. Church full of bitches. I don't understand you. But I know that your piss is good. And, you know, you want to make yourself a couple of dollars. Piss in this cup for me, man. I'll give you like $10, $20, right? I mean, people are coming bugging people like me for pee. Man, no, I don't want to drink this shit. This is for a job. Nigga, what you think I'm about to drink your piss? This is you have a cup. That's because I need to collect it. Nigga, what do I do? Hold it in my hand? Sorry.
They
Damn,
said it
nigga,
was.
most,
Oh, they
nigga,
was getting high all week, but they said they was just smoking a little bit of weed.
yeah, but no. But hold on. Man, nigga, you more square than the Pentagon. They're that dumb. They think the Pentagon's a square, right? This is God save me from DC and shit. Damn, if AIDS don't get them, stupidity police will. Look,
More square than the Pentagon. Ain't that some
yeah, you
shit?
more square than the fit. No, that's good. So yeah, man, just pee in the cup. No, I don't want to look. Man, man, no, turn around, man. I'm not trying to see your shit. Man, but you have to get up to the line. I need enough of this. Man, this shit's man, you didn't put no water in the cup. Damn, your piss is kind of clean. You know what? I got a cousin. We all trying to, we're gonna come back with a couple more cups. No, we just come with the damn bottle and shit. Okay. Okay. Nah, man, don't tell nobody. We'll beat the black off your ass, man. And there were people literally selling pee. And that's when Negroes started learning about golden seal tea. Anything that could clean their pee up, because everybody they knew was on something. They couldn't find people with clean pee. Man, where am I gonna find someone with clean piss in my hood? I mean, even my grandmother get high sometimes, man. Especially between checks. And towards the end of the month, time get hard. Everybody want to talk on something until the first. And so, but the pee got a little easier once they started staggering welfare payments. It was easier to sell pee. I think you may remember that. And, you know, I'm telling the truth, man. And so the we can't treat our ethnicity as if it's piss for sale. Because there were certain people, man, what you want my piss for? Man, you're not gonna do no Hail Mary, throw that shit on your back, pointing, well, no, I just want a job. I says, look, brother, what you need to do is detox, but I ain't gonna give you no piss. Come on, man, this is piss to you. Because it's my piss. So you gonna just flush it down the stool like a fucking Sphinx and let me be unemployed? Man, I'm trying to say to you, they're gonna check your piss again, but I'll come back to you get more piss. This is, should I go up on price? Well, no, man, won't sell it for me $2. I said, but you have a job. You're holding the job off my piss. Seem like my piss will get me more money. Well, fuck you, nigga. How fuck right? All right. And as long as we treat who we are like it's retail, not like it's immutable, not like it's eternal, not like it is priceless that can't be sold, like air property, then we commodify who and what we are and what we've been and all we've achieved the same way our ancestors were sold on the slave block and to the lowest bidder. And people see this in us and they hate us for this trait in ourselves. So they were taught to hate us by the State Department. There's a long history, over 100 years old, of foreigners being told to hate Black Americans.
We know black.
They hate us before they even know us. America projects the inferiority of Black people on a global basis and has done it even before the Republic was 10 years old. America went broke trying to kill off the people in Haiti to prevent them from being a free Black country. Before we had public schools or a real serious common currency, they were trying to destroy Black people because that's where the money came from. When Commodore Perry, a fucking mulatto, opened up Japan, the introduction to American culture for the Japanese was them doing a coon show, a blackface show to denigrate Black people. Before America even started trading with Japan in the 1850s, work with us, but you got to hate our oppressed people. That's how you get good with us, is you got to hate them. Don't understand them, just don't like them. We said this, we'll be good, you just hate them. And so we're sort of like a raped and abused foster kid in a foster family where we're being pimped out and all the money's being made, selling our dick and ass and pussy to the neighbors. And all the new foster kids that are treated a little better than us are encouraged to hate, spy. No, don't just fuck you. Fuck Brother Dome. He ain't shit. He'll never be shit. He's nothing. He's a little punk, he's a little faggy, a little sissy, he lie, he cheat, he steal. And that's all you heard. You're not going to take time to meet anyone like that. If you want to eat or live good in this house, you'll hate Dome. Don't even talk to him. Don't look at him. Don't you want to get along with me? Don't you want to live? Don't you want to get adopted for real and not be a foster kid? Then hate Brother Dome. Don't think about it. When you start jobs, they teach you that, well, he's been there a long time. He's grandfather, can't let him go, but just kind of like leave him alone. Don't listen to him. That may be the best, most intelligent nigga on the job is the person that they hate. And they just want that nigga to quit. Oh, how won't he quit? Damn, I don't know. He likes coming to work. I hate coming to work. How long you been here? 2 weeks. Come on, you worked a job and there were people that hated being at work. Damn, I miss stealing. I mean, I had the best fun driving, hiding away from the police. I have to come here every single day and punch the clock. I fucking hate this shit. It's like having to go to confession at church, and I'm not a Catholic. So everybody, when they went to Japan, hate Black people. The Japanese had their word for nigger that they invented the day that they started allowing Americans into Japan. The word for nigger is kurambo. Before they even could touch or see a Black American, they had a hateful word for people they didn't even know, hadn't even seen, courtesy of white power and white people projecting everybody has to hate these people because we hate them. Segue to World War I. Large number of Black Americans going abroad. The United States War Department had people teaching people to discriminate against Black American soldiers, hate them. These are people in the trenches in France, my great great uncle and others, hundreds of thousands of Black men being on the front lines to save the French from their own weak ass, bread under the arm, bitch niggas couldn't even fight off the Germans and shit, no matter how many fries they ate. These people being told, please discriminate against our Black Americans, hate them. Don't let your women around them, segregate them, treat them badly like we do. Because if you treat them good, we're going to have to really punish them to break them back down to being the subordinate people that we shit on. It's interesting that your major pushes for justice for Black Americans coincide with wars. Okay, French and Indian, before there was an America, American Revolution, War of 1812, not so much the Mexican-American War because the Mexicans were anti-slavery, the Civil War, right? World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, right? Right, over and over again, and it's because Black Americans got exposure. Other people got to meet us and see we're not animals. We got to go somewhere else and believe that we're not animals ourselves, because most Black people think that we're subhuman trash that deserve all the abuse we get. And a lot of them are in Greek letter organizations in the Boule. And World War II, the same thing. Before any American in the Western European theater, before they killed one German, white American soldiers had killed a good number of Black American soldiers in England because they didn't like white people liking Black Americans. Africans coming to America, Dr. Joseph Harris has a book on Pan-Africanism. The Ethiopians were told they could not go to Black neighborhoods. This is taught to this day. This is a government project that Africans are to hate us. Caribbeans are not to like us. They're to be kept away from us. And then when people come here, the people who bring over these people, tethers, a lot of times these are white supremacist churches, the Assemblies of God, a Pentecostal organization, a white supremacist Pentecostal organization, started by people connected to the Nazi and the Klan. They bring over Africans. The Church of the Nazarene, there are a lot of churches, white, racist-ass churches that bring over people, sometimes enslaving their asses. And these people are kept away from Black Americans on purpose. Also, you have white corporations that may murder and kill people like the United Fruit Company. The United Fruit Company brought over a lot of the Caribbeans who they were treating like slaves and shit in Panama, in Colombia. Real talk, people. And these other people fleeing from the reality. Let's just do this. When the Jamaicans had their Baptist War in Jamaica, I think, same year as Nat Turner, 1831, 1832, and they burnt up Jamaica. At that point, the most profitable British possession in the Americas, and second only to India, little teeny ass Jamaica. They're making a huge amount of money off Jamaica, more than what they're making in some instances, in terms of capital outlay, than damn India, with tens of millions of people. When slavery ended in the British Empire in the 1830s, and they went to the apprenticeship period, the British decided to punish the Black Caribbean people by bringing over these Indians like Cash or Crash or Cass Patel, Kamswala Harris, Vivek Skamaswamy, Nick Nookie Haley, all these damn Indians that fucking hate black people. This is an old thing. They did this in South Africa too. When they couldn't fuck over the Zulus, they brought over Indians and shit to use them as a class of people that they knew they could count on to hate black people, because the Indians in India, they're very mixed. Indians are all not one people. They're Tamils, they're Nagars, there are wow, forgive me. You've got the people that are Maharatis. You've got people that are, at one point they were Nepal is Kashmiris. You've got people that are. Let me just sit down and think about. Um, there's Telangana. There are dozens and dozens of ethnic Indians. I just gave you a few. Um, and Gujarati, which is what Gandhi was. These people all cut their own little deals, their little princess and all, to suck white people's ass. That's how India got conquered by a relatively small number of white people. And they helped kill the ones that were Muslim, and the ones that were Muslim fought the ones that were Hindu and all this other kind of shit. They're at each other's throats, but there's a group of them that they worship whiteness through their Hindu religion, and they know how to mistreat black people. And they put them throughout the British Empire to fuck over black folks. East Africa, Mauritius, Fiji, and also they took the Indians over to Malaysia, Singapore, and a lot of people don't like their asses. That's other Asians don't like them, and you're fucking over them in other places. They were put in and they were used as a means to have a middleman people that would never want to have common lot with black folks and fuck them over. And this is happening here in America. And by the way, all the niggas in the boule, if anybody out here is listening that's Greek, your organizations, not only are y'all anti-reparations, you're pro-immigration. All the black Greek organizations support the replacement of black people by these others. You got the little tattoos and shit and all, you're part of the problem. Even if you don't know what the leadership, the deals that have been cut against your people, you're still a traitor. And that's something else about other groups. If you betray people and other groups, they're not very kind. They will go after your family. They'll go after anything.
We throw
I'll
them
give
a
you a case.
party.
Let
We
me
throw
just
our
say this
traders
too.
a party.
No, we make them our leaders. We make them our mega pastors. We make them celebrities. And we sit around and cry. Why do they hate us? We've helped them. We've made them. Let me say
Or
this
get
to you.
mad at each other for criticizing them. Oh,
Yeah,
Dr. Short, you ain't supposed to be talking about them
I,
like
I,
that.
I'm jealous of the girl with the white man's dick in his mouth calling us niggas, right? First of all, it's not a cigar. And if you can get your lips around it, it ain't that big. But that's another discussion. Case in point is one of the head Iranian generals has been caught as a spy working for Mossad. That's why they've been able to kill so many of their Iranian leaders. The Iranian media has been silent other than announcing that they arrested him. You know why? Because the Iranian folk will go after that dude's family. I mean, they'll go after kids that, damn, it's going to be ugly. And a lot of cultures, when your parents are traitors, your mom or your dad, people will commit suicide to try to clear their name. I didn't know my father. I didn't know they were hoes for the enemy. I'm killing myself to prove I was innocent. In our community, when your father or mother helped kill Malcolm X or Dr. King, whatever, you want people to honor your parents because of your filial association with your parents. That shit ain't real in other places. Other folks will walk with their head down, please. Please, I'm sorry for what my parents did. Please don't hate me. I didn't know. I was young. And Black American culture would say, well, his father helped set up Medgar Evers to get killed. He's got a book out.
Praise him.
Okay, yeah, worship him, try to be like him. What's the secret to how he got white people liking him? But I'm just saying to you, all the while they raised up these Indians as the first tethers for the British Empire when America ended slavery in the 1860s, so they say. The tethers that they raised up were Chinese, but the shit didn't work as well. Their whole desire was to replace Black Americans with Chinese. It failed because the Chinese, unlike Black folks, they were not trying to learn white culture. They were trying to make their money and do what they wanted to do, and they didn't want that. On top of that, the Chinese had all kinds of ways and shit, like aside from eating dogs and shit. And I guess dog tastes good because I've had a whole bunch of Chinese food. And honestly, I can't wait to get some more. Okay. But I don't want to see where the meat came from. I just eat it. But the thing is, I don't think that you can turn a dog into a shrimp. I tend to like the shrimp fried rice. So maybe I haven't eaten dog. But then again, maybe they can make a cat look like a shrimp. They're very creative people. Anyway, while we got these people being brought over, the same thing happened with the people in the British Caribbean. Once they brought the Indians over to do work in the sugarcane fields that the Blacks no longer want to work in, the British neglected the Caribbean and made all those niggas down there desperately broke and poor. And so it became a custom because there was no way to survive because the British said, since you won't be slaves, then we ain't gonna do any shit for you as free. They created a little Caribbean boule. Kamala Harris is part of it. And their job as light-skinned, browns, mulattoes, they were often the children of the people that owned the plantations. They were used to fuck over the dark-skinned Caribbeans. And some Caribbeans who weren't all that dark were brought in as police or soldiers, and they were used to basically kill anybody or beat down any movements for popular change. That's how you got that Eric Holder motherfucker from Barbados. The Barbadians, these other people, they had the Caribbean Regiment, and the Caribbean Regiment went around shooting down and fighting against the ending of slavery, as well as making people who got fucked over by the Brits and others submit. So you have a culture of backstabbing, treason, betrayal, colorism. That is who the fucking Caribbeans are. And then you have a whole lot of Black self-hatred and other stuff. This is just a lot is true about them and people's situations bad. And I need to say this is kind of ugly. If you see really nasty behavior and caravan and other stuff, there was a very serious issue. And I think it's a psychic problem for Black men throughout the Americas. But in particular in America, the English-speaking Caribbean, there was a pussy shortage. In America, where you were able to reproduce people through slavery, where you put an emphasis on producing domestically a population to do the work. As well, you were grabbing and reclassifying Indians as Africans and enslaving them. You had a population of women, so there was some pussy, but you had to share with white folks. Because when you have immigration, far more men move than women. You know, pussy's like a safe with gold in it. It's kind of hard to haul it around, unless you've got something all put together like roads and shit. Come on, can you imagine hauling around a safe full of gold? No. You want to wait until things are right. You have the road conditions, weather, you can lift it, move it. In other words, women don't move around like men do. They don't, not historically. And if they move around, I mean, you're at risk because I'm telling you, if you've got some good cooch and you run around, in a lot of cultures, they'll just snatch that shit up. I mean, that negotiate all this feminism, all this dumb shit that women are here. I can walk around my titty hanging out. You better not even think about it. Try that in Pakistan. Try that in Bangladesh. Try that in Sri Lanka. Try that in Nigeria. Try that most places in the world. It's your body and I'm gonna show it and nobody better even think about touching it. Your ass is gonna get arrested, you're gonna get raped, someone will put hands on you. And so our spoiled ass, fucked up American culture has taught generations of dumb fuck women that they can do whatever the hell they want. Um, as they bring all these tethers and shit over here, and they be just raping women and shit. In fact, in certain cultures, when a woman dresses a particular way that communicates to them that she's a whore, in their culture, it's right to just take the shit because she's nobody's wife. She ain't trying to be nobody's mother. So, you dig hard, take it, share it with your friends. Like, become like a patron, a pussy patron to your friends. This real talk, people. And I want to say in the Caribbean, where there was a shortage of women, a noticeable shortage of women. Okay. And people died from the hard labor. Women, you had to, women were fucking shared around. So you have a culture of women having kids by multiple different men that's deeply rooted in Caribbean culture. So you have a whorish culture where men feel betrayed. Damn, it's like one pussy for every 10 guys. I don't even know how you're going to negotiate that shit, right? Come on, guys. Let's be honest. If 8 other people in your puss, you wouldn't have a smile on your face. That smile would be upside down. And so if you meet people from the Caribbean, they've got highly dysfunctional families. They've got family on all the different islands, people going to other places trying to find new pussy somewhere else, whatever. Now, eventually they settled this disparity between men and women, but it's foundational. And we had a pussy shortage in Black America too. We had a pussy shortage literally until like a decade after the Civil War, or half a decade, where the number of men versus women kind of balanced out. And see, white men had first picks. So really, you see the first generations of Black men and women having some kind of stability is the 1880s. Hmm. So, no, there wasn't always a surplus of pussy, brothers. And we're still acting like there's a scarcity. I mean, they just act like, sand is running out. Damn. Did you see that ass? Cute. Damn. Look at her. Look at her. Damn. I need to put a swivel thing on my neck, man. I can't look at all this ass on here, man. Ooh, I'm going to go blind. Right. Look, this gave root to a culture that's very, very hedonistic, degenerate, and it's whorish. And you can see this in Nicki Minaj and what these people have done with hip hop. And our music has gotten nastier and more vile the more people from these other places have come in, especially from the Caribbean. If you see someone just being totally hoish, um, Freaknik is the first thing I can think of that's completely nasty that Black Americans do. And that shit didn't even last that long. People trying to bring it back. Thank God for AIDS. Anyway, but this Caravana and Carnival, they do this shit in Brazil. And people just be fucking homo shit, pedophile shit, just fucking. When these people say we have no culture, there is no organized hedonism on the level of people from the British Caribbean and whatever amongst us. Unfortunately, as critical as I am of Black Americans, next time someone tells you there's no culture. Now, I also want to say that in Africa, the tethers have huge amounts of prostitution, including that for children. Ethiopia has a real issue. And this is all over there. They even have child slavery all over Africa. Some of the fucking chocolate that you eat is picked and harvested by slaves. They started passing laws to end slavery in certain parts of Africa in the 1990s, people. Slavery is still a real part of life in many places in Africa. And in India, which has a huge number of slaves. When they get here, they relate to us as slaves. So this black and brown unity shit is a fucking lie. a lot of people who are so-called Black Democratic leaders or Republican leaders, they understand that these little communities can cohesively vote and do things as a block because they're cohesive. They want political power. If they make themselves prostitutes to the Filipinos or to whatever group, that they can get people to give them campaign contributions because they have their own business. A lot of it underpinned by prostitution, drugs, smuggling, and other scams. They will serve those communities with a fervency that you will never see for Black Americans. Proof of that is the Asian hate crime bill, or when they had the hurricane in 2013 that hit the Philippines, and Sheila Jackson Lee came to a hearing or to a press thing in her fucking night clothes. I saw the bitch myself. Looked like SpongeBob but turned brown to give a thing because the Filipinos give her money down in Texas. If you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, the Filipinos give a lot of money to Black politicians. That's why you have all those teachers that are Filipinos that don't like Black kids. And there's a pipeline from Philippines right into the hospitals and schools in suburban Maryland that a Black American couldn't get into with degrees from Hopkins and everywhere else. The infrastructure for the tethers to come in and get our shit is also rooted in the wordings of the Civil Rights Bill, regardless of race or sex. And so when our people were fighting or whatever, not fighting or just trying to settle, we didn't get terms that exclusively said Black Americans, freedmen or whatever, which is why people pushing for that term freedmen, because there was a definition that only applied to us. Now let's move past all of that. Let's go to the end of World War II and understand that America had a situation where white America wanted to rule the world. Under the post-World War II era, they pegged everything through the Bretton Woods conference to make the dollar the legal currency, legal tender of the world, getting rid of the British pound. And they were struggling with the Russians and later the Russians and the Chinese and all the other socialist communist nations. And they began to do things to represent themselves as a free and fair nation. And that meant they had to lighten up on how badly they treated Black Americans, because the issue of Black Americans was very hot in the early United Nations, and it remains so. And Black Americans became a mirror of condemnation to white America. In fact, 80 years ago this year, the NAACP and all your Black organizations agreed to suck white folks' ass and not fight for reparations or total fair treatment of Black people in exchange for white liberal funding. They agreed to get with the Democratic Party in violation of their charter, the NAACP, to get behind Harry Truman. This is where this Black Democrat shit, even before Kennedy's ass, when he was still busting nuts behind Jackie O's back before they were married. Our betrayal to the tethers started in the 1940s, and it was done by the Boule. They did this to us 80 years ago. 80 years ago. There's a book by, I think it's called Bourgeois Rebels, and it talks about how Black folks here in America, the bourgeois, the boule types, who couldn't end lynching or injustice in America, got involved in anti-colonial struggles for people all over the world, Indians, Africans, everybody, feeling that if we help their asses get free, they'd help us. Psych niggas. Yeah, I think it's called Bourgeois Rebels. Look the title up. If anyone wants to know, if you can't find it, my email, you gave me my email, Brother Q. My email, which is also my
Turn your
email, which
email.
is it's wrandyshort@gmail.com. It is not only my email, and I do respond to questions. As long as it's not stupid shit, please don't try to hook up with me. Um, I especially don't appreciate people. Don't bring any rainbow shit up in there. I don't deal. I mean, I already got cancer. I don't need your STD. I don't need your opinion about you being a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body. Fuck all that. If you can't figure out who the hell you are, if you having a dick has convinced you you're a woman, you need to be in a psych ward. If you think your pussy should be a dick, that's because you've never let anybody work on it for you. I don't want to dab that job and shit, not at this age. Look, but you can email me and I'll try to share with you what I know. That's wrandyshort@gmail.com. Uh, that's also a PayPal. That's also a Zelle. And so yeah. If you like what I'm putting down and you want more details where I could give you certain things you could look at, because I collect books and do genealogical research, and I'm going to resume this month doing genealogical research, but it isn't for free. It's a business. And if you have a vagina, you understand having a business. It was the first home business. It's portable and it's consumable and it's renewable as well. I mean, so even sisters understand business. And the best investment is a wedding ring of a reliable provider. Um, we can talk about that in another conversation. But I believe it's called Bourgeois Rebels. And there are other such books where Black folks got highly involved, the Pan Africanists and all these other people trying to figure out if we can help them, if we all come together. These motherfuckers want freedom for their specific country. They ain't thinking about freeing your Black ass here in America. And you can't infer the same way these people try to attach all their struggles to something Black like these illegals do. We've tried to attach our flag to other people who don't even fucking know us or want us. So and so our universities and everything Black people had was open to these goddamn illegals. Yes, it was. And that's started happening in the 40s as well. Alongside that, with the Cold War, the United States needed to do things to compete with the Soviet Union. They started letting different people come to America and they treated them better than Black Americans. And part of the deal of coming here is staying away from Black people. And with the gradual liberation, on paper at least, of African countries and Caribbean countries, which really began to take speed up after, say, really 1955, right? Because you get the independence of Ivory Coast in 56, Ghana 57. You start to see, I mean, of course, India is 47, right? So between 47 and 1980, well, we can go even further back. We could say from 1945 to 1980, a lot of nations, at least on paper, around the world got their independence from either Great Britain, Portugal, France, Spain, Italy, right? And the United States had the Philippines, which got its independence in the 40s. And these people, in order to keep them from becoming communists, the United States cultivated these people. Barack Hussein Obama's fake Kenyan father, whose father was a CIA and British MI6 asset, who fought against the independence of Kenya. They brought his Black ass here through a CIA asset named Tom Boya. And so Obama is an example of a tether CIA legacy baby, at least in name, because this Obama dude don't look nothing like him. Um, and the Dunham family were in the CIA initially over in the Middle East in Lebanon at the American University. As the white people fought to create an economic, there instead of having political colonization of the rest of the world, America engaged in an economic colonization. That's why they're always doing sanctions and shit. England and them always had wars to fight their former colonies. America uses sanctions a way other people use warfare. The sanctions haven't worked on Iran, so now they're having to do the old school shit, which is go to war. Maybe we can bomb motherfuckers into submission, go back to kissing our ass. And by the way, the Nation of Israel was established in 1948. So that's a new colony that became a nation. It was a Palestine mandate that they took from the Turks over oil. That's another conversation that we can have, Brother Dome. But America, in order to keep people from joining up with the communists that were talking about liberation, national liberation, they started supporting all this shit. Let's go back 102 years ago, where they had the first Communist International, and part of what the communists, Lenin and all these other people promised to do is that we're going to help free all the non-white people being fucked over by the white, powerful, belligerent capitalist countries. And so the communists decided, you know what, the way we're going to take over the world is we're going to help all these dark people, give them guns and shit to fight against the Western, Northern European motherfuckers that don't like us Slavs and shit. And then, and by the way, the Communist Party has a heavy Jew thing. We can have that conversation too about Jews and communism. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. You bet your ass. I'm telling you the truth, people. So you get all of the Russians who are helping establish communist parties all over the world. And that's part of how the tethers get in. A whole lot of niggas that are internationalists fight for everybody's freedom. That includes that little high yellow nigga, W.E.B. Du Bois was a communist. There are a lot of black communists. And they're into tethers. They're not into black people. In fact, let's just do this. In the 1930s, early to mid 30s, I could be off a year or two, but between 1932 and 35, forgive me if I'm off by a year or two, the NAACP in upstate New York at a Jewish man's estate had a discussion about the fate of Black Americans at a rich Jewish person's house. See how the boule is, y'all? Why couldn't it be a black person's house? There was some black people with money. There's always somebody, this nigga that got money that don't want to share, that's got a nice house. We already know this. And they got the best and the brightest young black scholars from all over the country to come up to this Jewish man's house. I think it's the Spingarns, who were spies for the United States military intelligence to make certain that black people didn't fight for their rights. Let me repeat that. The Spingarn brothers, and when you talk about the damn NAACP Image Awards and they give out the Spingarn Awards, that's a metal name for a Jewish person that wanted to make certain that black people didn't get everything that they were supposed to have. Look at us. So the same people who were spying to make certain that black people went and died over in Europe in World War I and that they didn't speak up or didn't stand up against racism, and to report everything bad about black people to white folks so that know who to lynch or kill or put in jail or fuck up, or eventually send the Government Bureau of Investigation, which later became the FBI, led by a homosexual mulatto by the name of J. Edgar Hoover, or J. Edgar Hoover, as we say here in D.C., because as much as he hated black folk and civil rights, you whack that ass, you could get a nice government job. It's just like the boule, I guess, pledging. He didn't like the getting hit on the ass with the board, but you get it with something else. Just saying, people, let's move on. J. Edgar Hoover and these other people started spying on Black people way back in 1917 with the help of the leadership of the NAACP. In fact, one of the first people targeted by the government counterintelligence program, which it later came to be, was none other than Charles Harrison Mason, the founder of the Pentecostal Church of God in Christ, the nation's longest lasting, oldest Pentecostal holiness organization in the country. His ass was thrown in jail in 1917 for speaking out against the war in Europe and Blacks fighting it, and also because he was trying to get Blacks and white people to work together. And he had already been marked by the Assemblies of God preachers who had quit the Church of God in Christ in Hot Springs in 1914 to have a white supremacist, racist church that would be an enemy to the Black church that they had used to be in. The communists, many of whom started the NAACP, were white communists who play it both ways. And then they picked a Black communist. They picked Du Bois, a Northern Negro that didn't really get. He'd never ever been Black, never ever been down. I don't care how smart they say. It's the reason they celebrate these motherfuckers. And any man talk about getting raped by a white woman. That's quite interesting. But anyway, let me just keep moving. I'm going to keep moving. Let's keep moving. Are you following me, Brother Dome? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to be real. Now, look. So they have this meeting. And by the way, Du Bois volunteered to spy on Black people for the U.S. government during World War I. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. And at the same time that Du Bois, as a communist, hooks up with a pro-Nazi bitch by the name of Margaret Sanger, who felt Black people were human weeds, and had a whole program for the elimination of Black people gradually through abortion. And our dumb fuck asses think killing babies and being gay is freedom. And it was the idea of a woman who's a communist type. Actually, she's fascist, but helped by communist Jews and others to get rid of Black people, our dumbasses. And that's God's chosen people. What? Because they want to kill us? We're psychotic. Shit. This is why I say to
TCP.
myself, Q. Yeah,
TCP.
no, yeah, GCP. Right. Anyway, look. So in 1932, in fact, I don't have my other thing because I could look it up, but it's called the First and Second Amenia Conferences that were held in upstate New York at the Spingarns Plantation, may as well have been. And what came out of that is that the young, brilliant, foundational Black Americans were saying, in order for Black people to move forward, because the Great Depression was going on and Black folks had been mistreated by every damn body, they're being lynched, being killed, we need to build up our own economy. We need to have our own stores, our own schools. We need to do things for ourselves. And the white people, I should say I'm not going to say it, these Jews and these Black communists, that's called the nationality question in communist circles, which, as much as the former Soviet Union said that they supported the rights of all the different nationalities in the former Soviet Union, or for that matter, the current Chinese Communist Party, it's not true. And if you don't stick with the dominant party line, they have almost wiped out whole nationality groups or oppressed them based on ethnic identity. And it's seen as evil. Okay, I noticed like I got purged by some communists in the Green Party. I was too Black. I'm not talking communist shit. I'm talking Black shit. What Black American people want, the Muslims don't want. They're pushing Islam. The communists are pushing communism. The socialists are pushing socialism. And there is a group of people that get the main benefit, and it's not us. So these young Black folks were talking about building up a Black nation within a nation. Du Bois and all the others destroyed these young people and ran them out of the NAACP and made them out to be crazy, unhinged, a hate group. Just saying I had my own shoe shine stand. Since they won't shine my shoes right, now you can't do that. We have to keep struggling. See, because the communists don't want you to have your own Black community or stores or empowerment. They want you to be frustrated trying to fit into a system that won't take you. So you're so angry when the time comes for the revolution, you will throw yourself in rage to the barricades to try to overturn the system. And they can use us as cannon fodder, trench bait for people who will die out of their frustration with the system. This is how we're different from the Tethers. They come over and establish shit for themselves. Us, under the control of Black communist socialists, we're still trying to be included in what other people have. They should take us in. Why won't they? We know why. We're Black. So Du Bois, your hero, some of you niggas that don't think, same Du Bois that went over to Liberia and didn't find a problem with slavery in Africa. Same one that went to Manchuria or Manchukuo under the Japanese and didn't realize the genocide was going on. That's right, your boy Du Bois was a witness to an era where they had the whole Chinese population on drugs and enslaved to the Japanese. He saw progress. Du Bois and them went to Russia, Langston Hughes too, where they were starving people to death by the millions. And they saw progress. And at the same time, Du Bois was talking about there being too many Black people. And Du Bois published alongside the head of the German race hygiene movement, which started off by killing and sterilizing Black children. Du Bois published alongside him in the the Birth Control League review of Margaret Sanger. Yet he's advocating for freedom and the struggle of the 20th century as a color line. And they're going to these Pan-African conferences, meeting with people from all over the world that are Black, talking about their freedom, which isn't bad. I mean, they had something, but they had it in France at a hotel. And look, we Negroes with education can have a fucking conference. That's amazing. In fact, they were so honored because the guy's name was Diagne. Diagne, who was Senegalese, was the first Black person to be in the French Parliament in modern history, had the same name of that Senegalese man that shot a whole bunch of people. I hope that club wasn't gay. Down in Austin, Texas, a few days ago, had the same last name. Diagne, Diagne. Gianni. So here you are, a country that oppresses Black people, a country that used Blacks as cannon fodder in World War I and had been conducting genocide in various countries, in particular Congo, Brazzaville, where they slaughtered people. Du Bois is so proud that the French let them meet in France. And then in 1945, they had their Pan-African Conference in England. And yeah, look, we had a meeting in Europe. We're meeting in the countries that fucking oppress us and they're letting us talk. But you know what? There was a group of satanic people that had a meeting, I think about 1911 or 1912. There was a Muslim Pan-Africanist, Muhammad Ali Duse, D-U-S-E, where they had their whole idea of Pan-Africanism with atheists and others. And it's like some African Orient thing. I forget the name of this Congress they had. We're talking about freedom. And it had nothing to do with Black America. In fact, their Pan African conference that they had was all about Africa and nothing about changing the situation of Blacks in America. And you know what? Now, no Black scholars to this day have dropped the fucking flag on this. Marcus Garvey wasn't talking about changing the condition of Blacks in America, but collected millions of dollars from Black Americans. It was all about going to Africa. It's all about there's no hope here. Imagine someone coming to your country, taking your fucking money, telling you your situation is hopeless. That's a fucking pimp.
It's King Tether right there.
Okay, and so, and it's not that. In fact, I want to say Marcus Garvey was into the occult. He is into New Thought. He got with white Luciferian supremacists who felt that you could change everything through thinking. By the way, these are the parents of the transgenderism. If you imagine that you're a female, even though you have a dick, you really are. If you imagine Africa's heaven on earth, and if you could just go back and have a new civilization, and people need to understand that, let me just say this. There are two types of Pan-Africanism. There's a Pan-Africanism of Black Americans that was about our uplift within this country and hope and solidarity with Black people other places. And then there's the white Pan-Africanism that comes out of Princeton University that teaches that America is a land where Blacks can only be slaves, and the only hope for them is to go to Africa to be free. That Pan-Africanism has been reworked, and that is the dominant Pan-Africanism, the white supremacist Pan-Africanism that comes from people that owned and raped and abused Black people. Now, when you tell Africans that Black Americans are hopeless without them, how can they respect you? When the Caribbeans don't identify as African, but as Caribbean, and more importantly, they identify as subjects of the British Crown. What's his name? Jim Brown of the Shower Posse. You know about gangsters, Brother Dome. The Jamaicans that were killing people all over the country, killing thousands of Black Americans. When Jim Brown, if I have his name correct, finally got arrested, he had no fears of the American court system. You know why? He was a British citizen. This tether was not under America. And there are millions of people in this country from the Caribbean and other places that are not American citizens. And if they are in the British Commonwealth or in the French community, they can appeal to the courts in Europe, to another group of white people to help them. In the case of Jim Brown, he appealed his sentencing in America to the Privy Court in Great Britain. In other words, my slave master's in London, not in Washington. I don't have to respect your laws. This is why a lot of Caribbeans don't want to be U.S. citizens. They don't want to be subject under the same laws as the dumb fuck Black Americans who they see as losers. And they're also proud of their British education that teaches them nothing about Africa or nothing about Black people. However, that education is highly valuable because if you remove the consciousness and the compassion for who you are and where you came from, you're more likely to be a useful tool to oppress Black people like Eric Holder or other people that are Caribbean or come from this stuck-up shit. And if they don't get educated in Britain, they go to white Ivy League schools. They're more likely to marry white. All you need to do is go to England or Ireland. And 90% of the Black men there are married to white women. The Caribbean and the African all aspire to be as close to white as possible. And so when you say Jamaican, like all you dumb fucks that want to support That slut that I went to school with named Kamala Harris, well, her father's from Jamaica. You could say her father's from Haiti. There's diversity in these populations. You could say Cuba, there's diversity in Cuba. What kind of Cuban? You know, niggas, we need to start digging deep. Tethers notice that we don't do that. You want to make a tether respect you? Ask them a couple of questions about their country and know what you're talking about. Say, are you from Tanzania? Well, what city? What region? They start getting nervous the minute, because you're going to break them down and find out whether they're fuck niggas where they come from or not. Okay. We've been lazy. We know that Africans can dance. Well, shit, we can dance too. We know Africans eat food. We eat food too. We've been lazy. Part of how, another reason tethers don't respect us, we have contempt for learning as a people. We used to not have it, but they've developed a culture of intellectual laziness and mediocrity in Black Americans that has grown the last 50 years. And when you're a teacher and you come from another country and you meet kids that don't want to learn, don't go to school, whatever, where they come from, you aren't shit if you have no kind of education, because most people where they come from aren't shit. The only hope you have is that you might pass a national exam. If you can't pass the national exams to get into college or to a trade school, you're likely to be nothing. When they meet huge numbers of Black Americans that go to school to smoke weed and fuck, that completely is the opposite of everything that they know where they come from, unless they're from South Africa. They're more like us, and they're fucked up like we are. And they deal with tethers like we do for many of the same reasons. We have allowed our boule, our degenerate, vile, filthy, what are those things called? Freak off leadership that we have degraded us the same way the Manchurian Chinese under Emperor Puyi let the Japanese hook all the people in Manchuria on dope and make them prostitutes and druggies so he can live good. Our own people do this to us. Ebony Magazine didn't need to have liquor advertisements, but it was a white company that was prestigious. Let's take the liquor ad. Let's push cigarettes on our people. Pushing Newports. I remember all the little Black women with the black eye makeup. I rather fight than switch. And the Black woman's got a Newport cigarettes designed to fuck up Black people. And it was pushed by Black publications, the same way Black fast food places are driving diabetes. Black-owned McDonald's and Burger Kings and all, and Checkers, all this horrible stuff, as Black grocery stores have died. Other people look and see shit like that. No education, no food. For them, food and education is culture. You don't have no stores. You ain't going to school. In their mind, you don't have culture. I'm going to stop here. Now, hold on. Now, let me just add a piece. Now, I've given you that background. White folks are now tired. White people are tired of all these people. They're tired of getting killed by tractor trailer drivers with no real CDLs. They're tired of being killed in hospitals by fake doctors and nurses and scammed and love things. You promise a supersized dick and you end up broke. They're now kicking the people out and the laws are being changed and it's not going to go back. It doesn't matter if Trump's orange Dorito looking ass gets impeached. White folk are afraid that they're not going to be the dominant population in this country. And this war that they're having with Iran is going to convince them that they've lost their mojo. They're going to want these people who are aggressive and assertive out. In particular, America, all the way back to George Washington going broke, sending money to fight people in Haiti. and the Austin Manifesto, where the United States wanted to take over Cuba to prevent it from becoming the second Black country in the hemisphere for over 200 years, more than 200 years. This country has been fighting against Black countries emerging in this hemisphere. And they definitely don't want Black America to emerge as a power entity. However, there's also their fear. They brought them here to replace us. But the problem is these tethers become Americanized. First two generations are a problem. Third, fourth generation, those Negroes end up, some of them, blending into our population. They're reproducing faster, and they never wanted that to happen. They're afraid if America begins to fight wars over resources in Africa and they start killing them, it will radicalize Africans, and they may want to connect to Black Americans, so they've got to cut this shit off. So they're deporting people.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Dr. Short drops. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Remember, the best way to support the channel is to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel. Hold on. There you go, Dr. Short. You had dropped for a second.
Okay, well, what did you hear me say last?
You dropped for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't say anything for about 2 minutes because you said, hold on.
Oh, yeah, we didn't hear you for a second. I apologize,
Yeah,
but if I disturbed you.
You said
Go ahead.
something.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish saying what you were saying, Dr. Short.
So what I'm saying to people is that there are travel bans for all these countries because they don't want to be outnumbered or ruled by Black people. This has been a strategy that was in place prior to the founding of America. I always point people to Benjamin Franklin's essay, Why Increase the Sons of Africa? This was written in the 1750s. It wasn't even the United States. Their fear, because of the Indians and Blacks here, that they would be overrun. Don't bring too many Africans in. I mean, we're going to be overrun. That they've always feared our population. So some of the tethers, not all, merge with, they now need to contain it. And everyone knows that Africa's population, contrary to what they want to tell you, there's 1.5 billion. There may be 3 billion people in Africa right now. Every day out of 10 children born, 6 to 7 of them are Black. Black people are working towards being half of the population of this world. That has to be scary if you've been selling wolf tickets, enslaving, killing, beating, raping, hating. And now half of the world and the white population in this world is diminishing. It may be 7% in a very short period of time. Even in this country, they just said that last year's the first year most of the babies in this country aren't white. Disproportionately, the people under 17 in this country aren't white. They've got to get these people out of here if they want to hand off this country that they stole from our indigenous ancestors and the enslaved Africans. They're going to have to bring in more whites and kick out black folks. And for all the people that can't get on code with us, sorry, your asses need to go. And you know what? The wars to come are going to be over African resources. As soon as they're finished with this war in Iran, there will be wars in Africa. And if you get Africans that shoot and kill white boys and they come home in boxes from Africa, white folks can't handle it. White folks have been silent about this Senegalese man shooting people down in Texas. White folks are silent about the Sudanese man massacring white people at a church in 2018 in Tennessee. Nigerian man burning a white woman and putting her a hole in the ground in Utah. There are Africans doing shit every single solitary day, Caribbeans too, to white folks. And Asians and others doing shit to white folks. And the newspapers are muted. They're controlled by the same people who want this, who are GCP, God's chosen people. They want all these people over here to overrun what I call the white Anglo-Saxon atheists are in a battle for life with God's chosen people, the kosher mafia. And immigration is their way of taking power because they're the ones, institutions that fund all this stuff. They fund the gays, they fund the feminists, they fund Black Lives Matter. All of these are ways to manipulate behind capital, the movement and the minds of people to fight against their real enemies who they've been fighting for generations, the large landholding royal lineage families of Europe that have treated them like shit and expelled them over 1,000 times in various places in Europe are their natural born enemies. Plus, they're associated with Christianity even if they don't practice it. So TetherGeddon is a legal thing. And of course, they're going to attack Black people first. The good news is they can't put our asses out. That's going to blow the minds of all the tethers that this really is my home. As I had to tell a Ugandan Negro years ago, Mr. Mayanja, sir, I use you for my identity? Are you kidding me? I mean, having people's heads in the freezer? I don't need such an identity. Feeding people to alligators, killing bishops on buses. Says my ancestry's Indian, sir. I have some African. I mean, I'm proud of that, but I don't need you for anything. In fact, what I need you to do is get the fuck out my country. We never had another problem. TetherGeddon is here. It will not go away. And TetherGeddon has a bastard Siamese twin called Castigate. And that's for the Indians and the Southwest Asians who have fake degrees. They're scammers, they're liars, they're not as qualified. They hate the shit out of Black people. And white people are beginning to, I don't know, what's this? I forget it. You know when you do drug rehab and there's a way to get you to stop drinking alcohol is to get you disgusted with alcohol. I forget what they call it. It's like rejection therapy or something.
Yeah.
White folks are beginning to have rejection therapy with Asians. Now, if the Chinese give these Iranians some missiles and shit, and they sink an aircraft carrier, white folks are going to turn on Asians. Anybody with slit eyes, which I think are beautiful, my mother had them. Anybody, so I'm not picking. My grandfather had slit eyes too, and if you knew my family, as I said, we're heavily Indian. They all have little slit eyes. They have big cowbell eyes from the Black African, European side of the family. But the people who are more Indian, man, they could man, you could put my damn favorite godmother. I remember my aunt was sick, and I went up to see her in the hospital with my mother, and the nurse was being nice to them, and she wasn't talking to me. And eventually, the nurse asked my aunt, where are you guys from? Without looking at me. And she couldn't believe that my family, my aunts, that they were American. She thought they were Filipino and they were just fucking the black dude. That was me. Okay. And so, like, my great aunt, they called me a, what's she call me? A nigger monkey. Because of my features didn't look like theirs. And I didn't like that bitch, and I didn't like her husband, who I was named for. Fuck both of them, his half-breed ass. I don't care about that shit. I like me, but I'm just trying to say to you, people, that these Asians, the model minority shit it's over. And every time Cash Patel's ass gets up in front of the Senate uh, committee and they ask him questions, he's opening doors for us. So Castigate is coming. It's going to come out the corruption within the State Department and others to bring these Indians over here to keep black people out of stuff. It's going to end. It is going to end. The Indians stealing, lying, cheating, false. It's coming. And they fuck over white people and steal from them too. But if the Chinese help sink any U.S. ships, we already had the Chinese Exclusion Act, which occurred in the early 1900s. White folks do too turn on Chinese when they get mad. And they're already mad. They're going to get very mad. Let anything bad happen. Let the Chinese keep dumping U.S. treasuries, which causes the economy to crash. If they go on Fox News and blame China for doing it, white folks are going to turn on these Asians so fast. You're going to be amazed at how many white folks are less hateful towards you. So we're about to walk into a dawn of new opportunity. And the real thing is we need to fucking love ourselves, like ourselves. I'm not holding my breath on black people. I've basically given up. Black folks are determined to commit suicide, half of us. But I'm not going to participate in it. I'm not going to participate in my group destroying itself. I'm going to continue to be positive and upbeat and hope for the best. But a huge number of us are suicidal as a Zionists that think they can take all the land in the Middle East and not die. That's suicidal. So TetherGeddon is moving. They're already deporting people, even dumping them in whatever country shit. You know how black people think Africa's one country? White Americans do the same thing. If you're from Africa, they just drop your ass off in Cameroon. Figure it out. It's Africa. I mean, go the fuck back to Africa. They didn't say which country. They say, go the fuck back to Africa, nigga. They don't say go back to Nigeria. It's just one place that niggas need to go and stay away. So they're shipping the people out. It's going to increase. And the only thing that's holding up the tethers disrespecting us has been our lack of delineation. I look forward to going to the archives, in particular if people want genealogical research. You got my email, wrandyshort. It's not a charity, but I am reasonable. I'm going to start doing research on roots. I'm very happy with people looking and finding out you can find your history here. And it's not always as gloomy and sad as you've been led to learn that my great-great-grandfather was a colonel in the United States Army in the Civil War, fucking blowing the heads off of Confederates, God bless him, for my ass to have some freedom. And my other grandfather, a cavalry officer, cutting folks' heads off riding a horse in his 70s, both men in their 70s, fighting slavery and racism. God bless Basil Kelly, and God bless Thomas Lancaster for enlisting in the Army in their 70s. I mean, at 61, that's blowing my mind. that my grandfather, whose father owned slaves, and his sisters and brothers owned slaves, said this shit's wrong. And I'm black. I ain't doing this shit. And when the time came that he could like hurt somebody, stopped his fucking business at his old age and fought. Damn. Ain't that something? Can you imagine? A nigga in their seventh decade got their ass a gun and shit out there shooting people, busting caps and people. And we talking about them old guns that they like slide, pull the gunpowder and shit. And, and gunpowder ain't the sweetest pussy, ladies. That must have been a horrible job to be a soldier, have all that black powder in your mouth. Well, TetherGeddon is here. Castigate is here. We can repeat this, but I want to say to you, we're going to do a new status thing on Castigate, because if Vivek Ramaswamy loses, if Trump betrays Cast Patel as he should, if Scam Donnie, who's fake racist ass, they all came out of Uganda. By the way, Mamdani, Patel, and Vivek Ramaswamy all have a connection in some way with British colonization in East Africa, where the Indians fucked over the Africans and wanted their own separate apartheid states where blacks would be their slaves in service of white people. And they's the kind of people that they're advancing. I think Nikki Haley's people the same shit. They are angry at Africans and they'll hurt Black Americans. We need to stop thinking everybody's your friend if they're not white. There's some white folk that are friendly. I do not hate anybody. I don't want you to hate anyone. If you're a righteous human being, as hard as they are to find, it's hard to find righteous Black people. And I mean, for default, if you're in racist America and you're white, you're most likely to be racist. There's some white people who are not racist. Be thankful if you meet them. I've had some save my ass from Black people, especially at Howard University. God damn. I mean, coons are my enemy. Our war, in fact, we need a war. We need a civil war against Black traitor, degenerate, subversive coons. If you sell dope, if you sell ass, if you're a predator, if you're making porn, if you're a fake ass preacher, if you're a liar, a simulationist Muslim, I'm saying that, brother Dome. You got everybody worshiping Arabs, and yet folk can't embrace their own cousins in Kentucky. Fuck you. Keep that damn religion. The same I feel about evangelical Nazi niggas running up behind bloated ass great white whale bishop or whatever the fuck he is, Hagee down in Texas. If you're not for the restoration, salvation, and transformation and compensation of Black people, you are the enemy. The tethers can't ride our backs if we're standing up straight, nor can the white supremacists, nor can these fucking Asiatics or other people. It's our choice. Do we keep bending over to get another broom up our ass, or do we take that broom and beat the shit out of them with it? Okay, we're either going to jump the broom or hump the broom. I'm done.
With that, remember the best way to support the channel is to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. If you want to cash app Dr. Short, his cash app is Dr. Lancaster. It's Dr. Lancaster.
And you'll see
With
the
that,
name Betty. That's my mom's. Don't be afraid. If you don't do Cash App, my email is my Zelle and my PayPal. And I have a Venmo, which is Dr. Randy Short. Okay, Dr. Randy Short is that. And again, wrandyshort@gmail.com is my is my PayPal and Zelle. And I want to thank everyone. Your channel's been wonderful. I got all the transfer factor that I needed. I want to thank people for the donations. As I fight cancer, I got literally, thanks to your viewers, I got the total of 260 pills. And that's going to be, I think, significant in me having a very good um, test period in next month. So I want to say thank you for all of those that have invested in Brother Q, as I say, Brother Dome. Read, communicate, um, uh, and like I said, if you email, I'll write you. I can't answer all your questions, but I can answer some. Be of good cheer. The Negro song, Walk Together, Children, Don't You Get Weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. The question is, do we want to get to the promised land? I hope you do. Love, peace, God bless you, and good night.